Hello and welcome to the RATNEST podcast, episode number 37 with GutRot.
Hey!
What's up, dude? Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, so it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a few months now, right?
Yeah. And even before that, I feel like I had seen your work years ago. And I don't know, just I didn't really keep up with you. And then recently, maybe a year or two ago, Instagram has that way of being like, hey, you might know this person or you might be interested in this person. I was like, oh shit, I do know that person. Not personally, but by your artwork.
Surprise.
Yeah. So it's like, it's been nice to kind of go back and forth, even if it's just like internet friend shit and bullshit with you the last couple years, I guess. Shit.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Old, long in the tooth.
Yeah, dude, that's it. I'm long-winded. I'm talking a lot this episode. I'm not going to let you get anything in.
Yeah, this is Matt's episode.
Yeah, dude. This is 37. This is Rat's episode.
I'm here for you.
No, man.
So I'm Jim, by the way. Very nice to meet you, bro.
Jim?
Do us a favor and just introduce yourself to the listeners, who you are, where you're from, what you do, why we've got you on here.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's GutRot, aka Eric. I guess I am a lowbrow artist is the easiest way to classify what I do. Lots of slimy, horror-inspired, just lowbrow good stuff. Try to have some comedy in there too. And I publish zines, t-shirts, pins, patches, prints. Also do illustration on the side. Just try to do anything I can do on my own.
Well, and we here at RATNEST, we use lowbrow in a positive light, bro. We like that. That's what we do around here.
I didn't mean it to any negative connotation.
No. You said it the exact way.
I never know how to describe what I actually do.
You said it the exact way everybody says it, and we're like, yes, that's right, man. Like that lowbrow scene though it's a good solid scene.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now that's very, very awesome in that scene.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. You see like a lot of like crossover between like DIY, like punk illustration, zine kind of stuff. And then like DIY, we mess a lot with like comics on the website. We sell like a lot of comics and we work with independent artists across, the country that just self-publish their own shit. And it's cool because some of them, they're not like really like a punk rock kid. Like I wouldn't, consider everyone like punk, but it's a very punk mentality that they're just like, yeah, I don't go out. I like hardly drink, or, I just do my art. Like that's what's up. And it's very cool.
I've discovered those are the people I know that actually get shit done, not the ones that are going out and getting wasted at shows all the time. Not to say I haven't had my history of that. But
I think we
it's
all
like,
have.
I actually want to get things done. I should probably not wake up hungover at 2 p.m. every day.
I mean, there is the benefits of that too, because procrastination, man. You want something done fast, ask a procrastinator. You want something done right, ask the smart person. You know what I'm saying? Because the procrastinator, we're gonna get something done.
It's good.
It's gonna be done in the time frame that we have to get it done in. And as you hear, I say we because I am the exact same way, bro. Deadlines to me are I need it by the 30th. I'll start on the 25th. Today's the 1st. That's fine.
But it will be done on the 30th.
And it'll be up to par. Yeah. It'll be exactly what needs to get done. And if I start on the 2nd on something that's due on the 30th, it's going to be overthought, overworked, overproduced, and everything is going to come out like I'm not going to be happy with it.
Yeah, totally.
Even if the person or client is happy with it, I'm not going to be happy with it because I've seen all the flaws because I've stared at it for a month.
Exactly. It's like with stuff like that, I need to have it done and sent the next day so I don't think about it again.
Yeah.
When you're working on something, do you one shot like a lot of the work and just like get it done, or at least like a day or two and not like a week or two?
Yeah, mostly. It depends what it's for. I've been doing these sort of long-winded projects a little more now, but if it comes to illustration work, especially, I dig through my sketchbook. And if something clicks from, maybe a month or two ago, I'll use that. But if not, I will try to do start to finish in 48 hours with everything.
Nice.
And that'll just be, maybe I sleep 5 hours that one night, but then it's done and I don't have to stress out about it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
And that loss of sleep is a total a equal balance to give, like a cost benefit ratio. You know what I mean? Yeah. One night of very little sleep to be able to do this entire project or get everything that I need to get done. That's what's up.
Definitely. Also, without having the amount of time to get sick of it, not letting it sit there for a week and fester. And then I'll be like, oh, I should restart this. I don't like this about it. It's really like, I just kind of have to trust myself a little bit more when I do that, which works in the end, usually.
So that's a good point to make. Trusting yourself, because a lot of artists in general, like we've talked to like almost 40 different artists now over the course of RATNEST, and every single one of them, that comes down to being probably number two. Number one is just try, just do it and see what comes out. And that's probably the number one. But number two thing that's talked about is this getting over self-doubt. You know what I mean? Or that whole part of art, and having confidence in yourself to get it done or whatever. Like how much have you had to personally deal with that part of the art, or how does that play a role into your style of art? I told you the first few minutes are going to get deep, bro.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I feel like that is always in every aspect of my life, constantly. But when it comes to art, it's just, I've put enough work in at this point to kind of know what I'm capable of and know what people are coming to me for. And then when I do my own personal stuff, that's where I kind of fuck around and fail more. Not to say I don't experiment with client work, but it's definitely I've honed a certain set of skills when it comes to that. So I have some confidence in it, even if it's not a outspoken confidence. It's just like, okay, it's like clocking in once in a while. Not to make it sound like I dread it ever, but it's just like going through the motions and knowing that I know how to do it. But I would say in every aspect of my life, there is definitely uncertainty, anxiety, crazy anxiety around all that. So it's nice to have some sort of confidence once in a while.
Absolutely. I think, go ahead.
I was going to just say, to expand on that idea of like self-confidence and doubling back and like worrying about shit as you're making it or whatever the case may be, doubling down on yourself and trying to become an independent artist and do art for a living is like an insane next step too. Like, I'm sure you have a day job. It seems like
I always have a million day jobs.
Right. It's like everyone's hustling and doing the stuff on the side, but you've been producing steady work for different outlets for years, man. Because the first time I think I saw your work was Night Watch 1. Was that 5, 6, 7 years ago? Who knows? Like,
probably longer than that at this point.
Like it was so long ago, and you had a couple pages in that, dude. I remember, you had a sick ass page. It was like a space scene and they were flipping eggs. And it was sick. And I was like, damn, this rules. And then I saw that poster right around that same time. I think you still might have like the print on your site, 'cause I checked out your site not too long ago, but of like self-portrait maybe of you passed out in front of the coffee table with all the shit on it. And
the super long,
dude,
skinny one.
That was the one where I was like, damn, this dude is sick. Like that to me was like my favorite thing at the time. I was like, this rules. So pumped.
Awesome.
So
thank you.
Yeah, been a fan, like I said, for years, man. It's cool to sit down and bullshit with you and kind of pick your brain about this stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really exposed to your stuff until we got
That's fine.
Kind of the communication going. I wish I would have been exposed to it earlier, because the style that you do is right in vein with what I like. It's sketchy, if that's the right word, but it's refined. You know what I mean? It every line obviously is there for purpose. It's not sketched where it's scribbles and then you've turned it into something. It's like, okay, no, I'm using
intentional.
Intentional sketching. I enjoy that a lot. A lot of the stuff that I've seen from a distance, it looks super defined and really like detailed and really like professional or finished. You know what I mean? If you will. Like I hate to use that term. I use that term loosely, but then when you get up to it, you see all of the hand strokes and you see the actual the uniquity of it. And I like that. So that's what I'm getting at right now. I'm just giving you a verbal applause. Like, I like the style. When I saw it, I was like, oh, tight. We get to talk to this guy.
We're here to just
I'm an artist.
hype you up, dude. Yeah. No, but so do you ever like, does this stuff come just from everyday life? Where do you get like inspiration from, and like where do these ideas kind of stem from?
I'm sort of all over the place when it comes to sketching. Uh, all summer I was abroad in Europe and I didn't have any space to draw really. So I would just go out and sit at cafes and sit at bars and draw. And then it's kind of nice to have that noise all around me. The older I get, the more I discover I like to sort of zone in places like that where it just feels kind of chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really sketch that much at home these days, but also I haven't had a home this is the first place I've actually lived for about 5 or 6 months. So I'm trying to get back into that habit and not needing to, go out and have beers and have tea and stuff and just in order to sit down and draw. But yeah, with sketching, it's very much, I don't know. I'm sure you've noticed almost everything I do has a gaping open mouth in it. And that's just kind of where I start with a lot of stuff.
I just thought you were really into teeth, bro.
I do love teeth. I still have so many nightmares about my teeth falling out, and then I'm like, I should wake up and draw that. I've drawn that 300 times already. But yeah, it's kind of, I just let it flow a little bit. And then if it's work for a client, then obviously they have some input. But a lot of it is just me sitting down, drawing whatever the hell's coming to me. And obviously all my influences and everything just flow through me without me even thinking about it these days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, there's never a plan when I sit down to draw usually.
So I got to go back to what you said. Do you consider yourself an extrovert?
I go back and forth. So I've been in the service industry since I was 16 years old. So I'm sort of forced to be an extrovert, but I can very easily turn it off and sit at home and be fine. I was alone for pretty much the entire pandemic up until 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
And then I was totally fucking fine with it. I loved it. I got so much work done.
So
it was crazy.
I just found this term out. You're like me. You're an ambivert. Like you could be either one. Like whatever you fall into. I just found this out like this last week. So I have a project I was working on and I was at home and my anxiety was high. I had been home alone all day long. And I was like, I got to get out of my own head. I got to figure out how to write this. And I went down to a local dive bar, like just the music. They always have live music and like a lot of crowd, you know what I mean? And I just stood against the wall and grabbed a beer. And as I stood there, my outline started flowing in my head. And I was like, all the ideas were coming to me and it was flowing out. And I just, I'll just type them in my phone. I started typing and halfway through I tripped out like, why the hell did I have to get out into public and be around all this chaos and loud music and people that I don't know and strangers interrupting my work? But it worked. I would not have gotten half of this outline done if I would have just stayed home and forced myself to write into it. So I looked it up online, like, what is an introverted extrovert? Basically is what I think I typed. And it was like, no, it's an ambivert, someone that can go either way. But that's a trip that you go out to bars and would like use that external influence rather than sitting at home to work, because most artists we talk to are like, I go in my cave, I'm in my zone, don't talk to me. Like I'm in here for hours at a time and I just lose track of the entire world. But it seems like you're really bringing the world in to your experience as you're, creating.
Definitely. And I'm, very, very ADHD and, undiagnosed, but it's there. So if I'm home, I'll have my desk here. I'll be sitting at the desk drawing, but the computer's also right here. And then I'm like, oh, I should put some music on. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I should make some tea. Oh, I should go crack a beer. And it's all of a sudden it's 8 hours of me doing nothing. But if I go somewhere and sit down and buy a beer, I'm going to be sitting there drinking that beer and not doing anything else. So I always just bring my sketchbook with me.
I love it.
And I'll sit there and draw for 2 or 3 hours.
Bro, I knew we were going to get along because that's exactly me, bro. That's me.
Nice. But at the same time, if someone comes up and starts talking to me, I'm totally fine talking to them because I don't ever really do any sort of finalized, super intense work when I'm out. It's just kind of where I'm free flowing a little bit more and
just creating. Yeah.
Able to get out of myself and not really think about what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
then I'm not super attached to it. It's not like I bring out a 18 by 24 drawing pad and sit down. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Just relax. I'm an artist. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Don't look.
I've seen guys at the bars, like maybe not 18 by 24 or anything, but like have a big pad. Or I've seen guys doing like tattoo flash, especially. I've seen it twice.
Dang.
Sitting there coloring, and I was like, damn, dude, like that's awesome that you can work in that, but I don't think I could commit to coloring with like, it was a crowded bar too. It was like a lot of people. The same dude twice. And I guess that's just his zone is just like getting in there. Shout out Patrick Burke.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
Good for old Patty boy.
Yeah, dude. He rules.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Works for everyone.
Where
I just moved to Somerville, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Lived here. I lived in the Boston area from age 18 to 22. And then I skipped out of town and did a bike tour and was on the road for a few months and ended up in Austin, Texas. And I was in Austin, Texas for a very long time, like 11 or 12 years.
Right.
And I just moved back up to this area during the pandemic.
Okay.
And now I'm settled, I guess, in Somerville for a little while, at least a year or two.
Dude, we were on bike tours at the same time this year, which is cool.
Really?
I had like an Instagram friend that was like, I'm riding too.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, it's like, how far did you end up going? Where'd you go?
So this tour was a fucking disaster.
It
was the first one I had done in 10 or 11 years, and it was just fucking awful, man. It rained every single day I was on the tour. The first place I stopped, I camped for 3 days, and it was just thunderstorms for 3 days straight. So it's me eating fucking granola bars in a tent for 3 days. I was like, all right, it can only get better. But I started in Rhode Island. I went through Connecticut, started to go up through New York. I had a really, really bad wreck, and I was laid out for about 10 days.
Oh no, what happened?
Stay. It was just a thunderstorm, and I was trying to camp in the woods the entire time I was out on the road, and that rain really killed me for that.
Heck
so
yeah.
I found a place, and I was setting up camp, and the storm came in, and all these tree limbs, widowmakers started falling around me. So I said, all right, maybe I shouldn't camp here tonight. And on my way out, I couldn't see anything. The rain was so heavy, and I just went down in a ditch.
Oh no.
Totally skinned both my knees. My legs were all wrecked. I thought I broke my wrist. Yeah, it was a lot. And I waved some guy down, and he gave me a ride to another town. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to sit and heal up and see how I feel in a few days. And then if I feel better, I'll keep going on the tour, because I had moved out of my house. I didn't live anywhere. I was like, I might as well just keep going if I can. And then once I was rested up, I left, and I was like, all right, the weather's finally nice. I'm going to keep going. 2 hours later, fucking thunderstorm opened up again. So I rode back to Rhode Island, and I said, screw it. I need to just find somewhere to live. I'm done.
Yeah.
Dude, I cannot imagine the mind fuck that had to be like, I don't have a house to go back to. I'm heading across the country, and I just wrecked myself. Like, bro, kudos for you just to get through that shit.
Dude, I was complaining about just camping. Like, I was just complaining about camping by the coast. It was just
a hill they had to go up.
Easy, guy. It was pretty tough, all right? But
there's bugs. I hate the bugs.
Yeah, dude. I felt like such a wuss every morning. I was like, it's cold. I don't want to ride.
This dude's life's on the line at the exact same time.
If I had to spend 2 days in a tent, I would have said game over. No, I would have just called it in and been like, I'm getting a ride somehow back to wherever home is or whatever home base. Like, just get the fuck out.
I didn't have anywhere to go back to.
Yeah,
dude, that's wild.
So.
Definitely a big reason I kept going.
Yo, was that just like you were like, all right, I'm just gonna get rid of everything, like as far as responsibility goes, to go on this ride, and then just forced you to do it? You were just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I've structured my life in a way where I don't have any crazy responsibilities except to myself usually. So when I decide I need to do something like that, there's usually nothing to stop me. That's one of the benefits of working shitty service industry jobs. You can just walk away from them.
True. Yeah.
So
having
now,
days,
there's a million.
Having days in a tent, I assume you were doing some drawing.
Honestly, I did not draw in the tent at all. because I was traveling super light. So my tent was basically just a little A-frame and I could sleep in it. It wasn't comfortable in any way if I was not just sleeping. So anytime I stopped anywhere, I would, have a meal and sit there and draw for an hour or so, but really not that much. It wasn't until the tour ended. And then that's when I ended up spontaneously going to Europe with a friend for three months. And that's when I was just like, oh my God, I miss drawing so much that all I was doing was drawing the whole time. It was awesome.
I love it when you get that bite.
Yeah, I definitely have to go in extremes where I'll do crazy shit and just be out of myself for a month or two or 4 months or 6 months sometimes. And then I always come back to being like, oh, I haven't drawn. I need to draw and not think about anything else. And that's how I actually get the energy to do it. Because I usually have about half a year where I'm very productive. And then the other half of the year is just kind of fucking around and doing whatever out in the world.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
So when you went to Europe, you just were couch surfing? Were you staying at hostels? Did you know someone out there? Like, how'd that work?
After I was in Boston, I met up with a friend who lives there. He just happened to be here. And I was like, man, I think I need to cancel this tour. I'm fucking miserable. I'm tired. I'm beat. I've been in the rain for a month. He's like, oh yeah, we're moving from Spain to Portugal. You should just come with us. And I said, okay. And I just bought a ticket the next day to go with him.
Dang.
Yeah. Cause it was like, I didn't have anything else to do.
Fuck, dude, that's awesome.
I didn't have rent to pay. I had a little storage unit with all my stuff in it.
That's wild. So you just like,
yeah, it was awesome.
You had what you had on tour, or you went to the unit and like grabbed a few things and then just took a backpack, or what?
I ended up going with just like a little JanSport backpack with a couple t-shirts and a sketchbook and my toothbrush and like not much else.
Sick.
Dude, yeah. I thought this podcast was going to be about how to create art. It sounds like it's about how to create a dope ass life.
Yeah, how to travel.
Yeah, how to just do it right. 6 months out of the year, I'm just fucking off. And then I come back for 6 months and draw. Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not always glamorous, that's for sure. I mean, especially being in the service industry for so long in Texas, it was just like paycheck to paycheck for fucking years and years and years.
Yeah.
But then I'd always be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go somewhere and couch surf for 3 months where I know people.
Hell yeah.
And luckily it worked out for me thus far.
Dude, that's super tight.
Dude, so all right, so I want to ask you about the zine, because we just put it up on the website. Because I got them in the mail the day before yesterday, I forget. Did you start it before the bike tour? Did you do that, or was this a product of like after all that traveling and going to Europe and stuff?
So it was done. That's the second issue of it. The first issue was done right when I moved to Rhode Island after I left Texas, with friend Ed Kelly. Sneddy Sned is his Instagram handle.
Shout out.
So I had this idea. It goes back kind of far, actually. I am always trying to get people together when it comes to art. I want to work with people all the time, but most artists, are super, super isolated. When I lived in Texas, one summer I was up on this farm and I said, okay, I need to go back to Texas and just have a huge project with a bunch of people. So I started throwing this festival in my backyard once I got back every year called RATNEST, and I would have 10 to 20 artists. 2 friends would come up and tattoo from Corpus Christi. I'd have some friends cooking. Usually I could get a beer sponsor or a liquor sponsor and some people playing music. And just luckily it was kind of a free for all in my neighborhood. So no one ever gave me shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I did that. Did that for 4 years. And then once COVID hit, I was like, all right, this isn't going to happen this year. This is my chance to get the hell out of Austin. I'm so sick of it. And then I was still trying to find a way to work with other people. So I came up with this magazine, which was split between me and one other artist every issue. I do 20 pages, they do 20 pages, just whatever the hell you want. And then with another artist, we can afford to print a bigger run and, split the costs. So it's a little easier financially.
Uh-huh.
And the first one came out about a year ago. And this one, I had it done in about March or April. And then Brian, the other artist, offered to print it. So he had it printed probably, I think I left I left at the end of June on the bike tour, so it was done right around that. And but then I left on the bike tour, so I couldn't really release it.
Yeah.
And I just released it as soon as I got back.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful, and I love it. I'm very happy with it.
No,
yeah, dude, it's rad.
It's great. This one that we have is number 2. This is the second issue.
Yeah, that's the second one. Hang on, I'll grab number 1. It's right behind me.
You didn't tell me he had 2.
Yeah, sorry.
Learn some every day.
That's the first one. That's my cover.
Dude,
and
that's
then,
a dope cover.
That's Ed's cover.
Sick.
Rad.
Yeah, solid like EC Comics type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
He's got like a lot of sketchbook stuff in there.
Nice.
I really like
mine is pretty similar to what's in that one.
I really like the split zine, like one half upside down from the other half. I think that's a genius idea.
I remember reading old Marvel comics back in the day.
Right. They had 2 stories. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, the cover that they display, except usually the second half was complete garbage. But they would, they display the Wolverine cover and then you open it up and it's 8 pages of Wolverine.
I was gonna say it's usually like 4 pages or 6 pages. Yeah. There was always just like the bare minimum. It was like a snippet.
I think it was Marvel Comics Presents is what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it
hasn't some crazy Sam Keith ones. I don't know if you guys like Sam Keith, but his Wolverine was fucking crazy, and I still think about it all the time when I draw.
That's the one that inspired you.
I remember those comics really just sitting there and drawing them, and copying the panels all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then like a million other ones, but those ones still very specifically stick with me.
Yeah.
Are you Marvel or DC?
Oh, definitely Marvel.
Yeah, okay.
Dude,
that's a hot button question we like to ask on here.
Sometimes.
I like Batman. Like every kid likes Batman. Batman visually is probably, the coolest superhero.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Marvel was always just more interesting. All the characters were so much more interesting to me.
It's like the James Bond of like superheroes almost. I mean, James Bond's kind of a superhero in his own right, but Batman's just like a cool billionaire that just like fights crime like a badass. It's pretty sweet. He doesn't have any powers. He just has gadgets. Billionaires,
but Batman's kind of cool.
Yo, it's insane. If Bruce Wayne, if Jeff Bezos was busting ass like Bruce Wayne, dude, we would all like him. We'd be like, go Bezos, dude, get that shit.
Yeah. Instead, he's just fucking Lex Luthor.
Yeah, dude, straight up Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Dude,
evil.
Back when all those Chilean miners got stuck in that cave and Elon Musk was like, hey, you can use my drill to get them out. Like, I built this thing. And they were like, nah, we don't want it. I was like, fuck, this is how you create supervillains. Some billionaire with all the money in the world, and you tell he's trying to do good, and you're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Fuck all those guys.
Yeah.
If only comic books were real, then those guys would be doing cool shit.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the real world.
It's pretty shitty.
So speaking of the real world, I heard you met the guy from Disturbed one time. Tell me that story.
I did. How did you hear that?
A little birdie told me.
I met him at there's this famous barbecue place in Austin where you have to show up 3 hours early and wait in the fucking line and all that dumb bullshit that people do. And I was young enough that I was like, oh, this is worth it. I'll wait in this line for barbecue at 10 a.m. We get there, we get our food, we sit down, and then the singer from Disturbed is coming around the bend as we sit down to eat our food. And I was like, that's either Howie Mandel or the guy from Disturbed. And then I just looked at him for a second and I was like, that's David Draymond from Disturbed.
Hell yeah.
and I just walked right up to him and was like, hey man, huge fan, which is not true. Like 12-year-old me was a huge fan.
Yeah.
Like, can I get a picture?
Yeah.
And he was like, absolutely, super fucking friendly guy.
Yeah. Just like a normal, like
any normal kind of short
old metalhead.
And then, he didn't have his
no metal,
snake bites.
No metal sticking out.
But then in 1 second, he just switched to like serious, like his pose just completely changed.
Yes.
It was so good.
Dude.
I still got that picture saved somewhere.
What
I fucking loved it.
what's that barbecue spot called? It's like Aaron someone, right? Like that's his dude's name.
Franklin Barbecue.
Franklin.
I just didn't want to give that many free advertising.
Yeah, no, I mean, no one. The 20 people that are gonna listen to this, no one lives in Austin. It's fine, dude. No one gives a shit. No, yeah. He's the reason I know is because that movie with the dude that directs all the Marvel movies, Jon Favreau, Chef. Aaron Franklin's in that, so I know it's like the hip one that everyone talks about.
It's very funny to see all these Hollywood movies about fucking chefs and like glamorizing how all this shit. And I'm like, nah, that shit fucking sucked. It always sucked. I hated it. I never made any fucking money doing it.
Where's the movie about like a line cook at Applebees, dude? Because that's where like I started out like working at. I've been working, like you said, in like the industry since I was 16, 17. I'm 35. So it's like most of my life. Back? Yeah. So where's the line cook at Applebees that's just hustling, trying to support a family? He's probably slinging some coke in the back to all the chefs.
He doesn't have time to write an autobiography and
listen, Hollywood,
a Hollywood movie.
Yeah. Where's Bradley Cooper playing that shit?
Of course not. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I feel like it's so glamorized at this point, and really it's like, man, it is such a shitty fucking life.
Yeah, dude. It's heavy. Like you said, paycheck to paycheck, dude. It's like you get kind of stuck in a cycle. Yeah, it's easy money, but it's not a lot and it's not guaranteed. So you kind of run through it like you would, unless you're an extremely good saver. And I know a few people that they're the salt of the earth that work in the restaurant industry and like support a family and have a savings account. But most of us are scumbags and we spend that shit like we get it,
Yeah, it's a big reason I never carried any sort of responsibility. Like I was like, I'm never going to get married and have fucking kids or even consider buying a house, because I was like, I'm going to take all that money that I make working 80 hours a week for 6 months. And then I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to go, get drunk and wander around the Northeast for 3 months, 4 months.
Sick.
I'm going to make $100 in tips tonight and go out and spend 80 of it.
Yeah, right. Tips. Tips as a cook. What a rare thing.
Oh yeah, that's not rare.
Oh, that's right. As the cook,
if you're lucky, sometimes I've worked at bars where I've worked back house where they say that 2% is included in the check to the back of house staff, and then you get your bonus like at the end of 2 weeks, and it's like $16.
Oh my God!
It's like, all right, I know you guys are doing some numbers. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, I used to work at a place where it was one of the first kitchens I worked in, and I remember I would work during the day and also do the register in the kitchen, doing the register.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Oh, cool. I made $40 on tips today. And then once the servers came in, they're like, oh, you guys still get all your takeout tips and everything. And then at the end of the night, it was always like, all right, 1, 2. All right, have a good night, guys. Yep. Like, oh, thank you. Do you have a $2 bill I can trade this for?
It's insane, dude.
They were definitely stealing our fucking tips.
Back of house is a very underrated part of society. Because everyone knows someone that works back of house, but like as a whole, it's not celebrated. You go to a restaurant, it's about your server, it's about the bartender, it's about, whoever. But like the guys making your food, hustle.
Yeah.
Like no other industry that I've ever been a part of. I don't know. But again, I've only been a part of like hospitality shit.
Yeah. Who really deserves all the fucking respect is the goddamn dishwashers. They're the ones that actually run the restaurants.
Hell yeah.
They're the ones that are there at 5 a.m. checking in all the orders, working 16 hours every day, not complaining.
Yo, shout out to all those dishwashers out there.
Hey,
cheers to them.
Hell yeah.
Cheers to them.
Yeah, man. And if there wasn't back of house and those dishwashers supporting the kitchens, we wouldn't have artists.
It's true.
So many dudes.
I definitely think all my years in the service industry fueled the type of stuff I do. It just makes me look at the world in a way that a lot of people tend to not see.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's like, yeah, the world's fucking gross. People are gross.
So you say gross. People are gross. I kind of see a little bit of that feeling in some of the stuff that you draw, like the sketches. You kind of tend to focus on, at least in my point of view, the uglier side of humanity, or like of the situation that you're trying to draw. Even if it's like a simple drawing of a skull or a rat or whatever, like you make it look kind of on the ugly side. Like, obviously that's on purpose. That's kind of where I drove the question earlier. Like, oh shit, what drives you to make this? Is that self-confidence come into play? Because a lot of people can't see that side of beauty artistically, that the ugly beauty, you know what I mean? And you really bring that out of in every sketch that you do.
Oh, thank you.
What is it like? Obviously, obviously it's not, you're not like some sociopath, dark ass dude. Like, we're sitting here having a conversation. We could see that. And I don't know, maybe you're completely different. Hit midnight. You're like a gremlin.
Yeah. It's like, this guy's the best actor ever.
Just met him today, but, no, you seem like
Shut up over there.
a guy that's got it together, but you're still able to see that, like, that ugly beauty in those situations. Like, what is that? How the fuck do you do that? Like, still keep a positive attitude, but constantly kind of see the world drab.
I wouldn't say I am a positive person at all. I think I just, as disgusting as I think the world is, as soon as I find anyone I like I'm so excited to be around them. And I love the people I love so much. And also it's just, I think things are, I don't know. I have this strange view of the world where it's like disgusting, but there's comedy in it, a lot of it. So I feel like that's a lot of the reason why I try to make these things. I don't draw just like straight up fucking brutality and, heads getting lobbed off and like hyper violence, because it's, people are gross and the world is gross, but it's still funny. And you kind of have to look at it with that lens to get through it, or else that's when you become the fucking sociopath and a total fucking misanthrope. And also I think the fact that I travel and just kind of wander around so much, you wouldn't do that if you didn't see some sort of positive light to humanity. And I think that it's just this weird juggling act in my head all of the time. So yeah, I don't know if that really answers the question.
It's a trip to me, because that was I've been waiting until like, I didn't want to just come out of the gate with that. Like, but that was one of the first things that struck me when I started looking at your work, is it all looks like the ugly side.
Dark.
Like, yeah, dark. You're capturing the side of things that other people don't want to capture. A lot of people want to draw the prettiest thing or the best thing or whatever, but you're able to.
So boring.
Right. I get, yeah. Right. It's
like, who wants to build a career drawing shit that just decorates Airbnbs? I don't fucking understand.
Yo.
Like, how do you not get so fucking bored with yourself if you're doing that shit?
Yeah.
No
but
shit.
You tell me you'd be lying if you didn't think about it once in a while. Like, damn, I could probably make some money by just doing some bullshit.
Totally. Back to Marvel. The other day I was standing at a fucking bar with my friend and I was like, oh man, I haven't drawn in a while. I just, I gotta make some money. I'm not working right now. Like I'm working now, but it's very inconsistent because I'm just settling in. And I was like, I should just start a fucking Instagram account that just is pure Marvel fan art. And I guarantee I would make some fucking money, because that's how I learned how to draw. All I did was draw Marvel superheroes forever. And then, once I was a more mature 12-year-old, I started drawing Dragon Ball Z characters.
There you go.
And I was like, oh man, that's money right there. But I don't know if I could do it. That's a whole lot of energy to put into something I don't actually give a shit about.
That's been an economy since we were children, because I distinctly remember in like the second or third grade paying someone $1 to draw me a sick ass Dragon Ball Z. He was like a sixth grader and I was like a third grader. And we rode the bus together. He just ripped it, dude. And I had that shit on my wall. I wonder if my mom still has it, but it was on my wall until I like moved out when I was like 18. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was rad. He was really good.
I'm so bummed you don't have it anymore. Did you lose it?
I have no clue. I have like 2 boxes of shit at my parents' house still to this day. Like 17 years later. And
I think I still have some comic books at my sister's house.
I'm like praying that it's like folded up in like one of the books or like notebooks in there. Nice. But yeah, I had that shit forever, dude. His name was Marshawn. He fucking ruled.
Yeah. I'll never forget, some friend of mine drew there was like when the art for Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 3, the one where they brought back Scorpion and Sub-Zero and all the ninjas.
Yes, it was Mortal Kombat 3, arguably the best.
Yeah, and then they released the one that had all the old characters in it again. I think it was called Ultimate or something.
Yeah, like Ultimate for sure.
And there was like the art for it, and I remember there was Scorpion just like this, and someone drew that for me, and I was so excited for it because it was big too. You know, it was probably like 11 by 17. Picture, you know, a 9-year-old doing an 11 by 17 drawing. Pretty impressive.
Hell yeah.
So my friend gave it to me, and I don't know what the hell happened, but within a week it was gone. I couldn't find it anywhere. I tore apart my entire room looking for that thing. And to this day, I still think about it because I love that so much. If I had it, it would be right in front of me on my wall every day.
Right?
Yeah.
Those things
I own a lot of original art from others, but the stuff I do own, it's like, yeah, it's always right in front of me.
Right in eye view, yeah.
Even though you like obviously travel and you live small or like pack small, basically, you said you had all your shit like in a unit when you took off. Are you not a collector when it comes to like other people's work? Do you? Because I feel like I trade with like everybody if I can.
I have gotten better about not trading for everything. Yeah, I want to, and I want to own everyone's stuff, and I want them to have my stuff. But I very much know that at some point I'm like, okay, cool. I've got 8 boxes of zines that I've traded with people, and it's just like I feel like an asshole, but really it's like I can't carry all that stuff around. Sure. Because every time I move, it's always books are always the huge thing that it's a pain in the ass to move, obviously. So now it's mostly like I'll trade a print, something like that, something small. But yeah, books I don't really have. I don't usually buy or trade original art just because then it's this precious thing that I have to take care of and got to get it framed and all this bullshit. Like I bought some art from a friend not too long ago, and I opened it up. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I just was like, fuck, I have to get this framed and matted and all this. And it's just been living in a flat portfolio ever since.
Yeah,
I'll take it out and look at it once in a while.
I feel
it's very much like, oh God. Also, the whole time I lived in Texas, the house I lived in was made out of cardboard. So if I ever tried to hang anything in the wall, 10 minutes later it would fall off. Oh, so I never got in the habit of actually hanging a lot of art that I had. You know, prints are a little more disposable, so you can put some tact in them. But
yeah, like
putting
framed
a nail in that wall, it would just slide right out.
Wait. Literal cardboard walls?
It was definitely particle board or just like pure fucking drywall. Like, could not find a stub in that house.
Damn, everyone's moving to Austin if that's what they're renting right now.
Yeah. It's like going back to the, it's like the chicken
place,
wire.
I would close the door and you would see the entire wall shake.
Oh shit, yeah.
I lived there for 11 years and it was just so, I don't know. You know, I didn't give a shit for a long time. I was just like, fuck it.
Look, no judgment at all. I'm not judging whatsoever. We live there, bro. When we used to play music. I've been in a bunch of bands, and we had a house out in Beaumont, which is a place near where we live. And it was basically the sticks from where, you know, it's on the way to the desert, but not quite into the desert. So nobody really has any reason to go there. And we would just rage every single night.
That's the nice thing about living in shitty places is there's no reason to care about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're 19 and you have 4 roommates, so everyone's paying $200 to live or whatever, it's like, it's very doable to rage all the time.
Yeah. We moved in and there was this shitty carpet and it kept getting thrown up and spilled on, and we were like, there's hardwood floors under. So we just ripped up the carpet and left
let's burn the carpet off.
Yeah, unfinished hardwood floors. Yeah, and like by the time we moved out, it was like just the same shit happened. The stains were there. There was just no carpet to lift them up.
Right. Yeah. The corner is like rotting away. There's like termite damage and shit.
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. Not that not that house, but other houses.
I will say it had one of those like cellars down in the bottom that was just for like storage, built in the 30s. And we used to just throw our empty beer cans down there at the end of parties, like just gather them all up and toss the Trent. When we left,
this will be our fortune someday.
That was the idea. And then we all got booted out and we never cleared it out. And they told us they got like $300 in recycles from everything that was down there. They
for
just
how many years?
Walked down. Oh no, we lived there for like 8 months.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a good time. But yeah, same thing. Like you live in a party house, it's trashed all the time. The fucking doors don't close properly. The oven doesn't even work, but you make it work.
Yeah, I feel like that was also living in that house for so fucking long in Austin was a huge inspiration for the type of stuff I drew.
There you go.
Like,
there you go.
Party houses, just draw party houses.
Yeah, hell yeah,
dude. Anywhere.
I remember.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember I had a roommate there that decided to build a deck one day. So her and her brother built this deck, and it was just pallets on cinder blocks with particle board on top. And then she moved out a month later, so she never finished it.
Oh shit!
I kept that deck for 3 or 4 years until there were spots mapped out, spray painted where it's like, you don't step there, you'll just fall right through. And one day I remember we were like, all right, we're tearing this down today. Me and a couple friends tore it down and just piled everything up and had a fire in the backyard, lit it all on fire, and it was like fucking 30 feet in the air.
Oh Jesus!
I could not believe we didn't burn down the whole house.
Hell yeah, dude!
But it was fun.
Dude, that's another thing about party houses. Like everyone remembers the party house, like from where they've been at in their life, and nothing bad ever happens at those places. Like giant 30-foot fires. We got the cops called on us 0 times, and we partied every fucking night. You know what I mean? It's almost as if the universe decides to put this shell of protection around these party houses. Like, you teenagers don't need to get in trouble. God bless
the ignorant. Yeah. Just like,
God takes care of the drunks and the ignorant.
Dude.
Yep.
That's the way it is.
And then it's like, once you start to think about it, that's when some shit's going to go down.
Right, yeah. Sorry to all of you party houses. We just jinxed it.
The second one roommate's like, dude, I don't know if we should do this tonight. That's the night where like shit happens.
The entire floor
you
falls
can
out.
move the fuck out, man. I don't need your $200.
Yeah, we don't think like that in this house.
I got enough cans in the basement. I can cover that $200.
I'm about to rent out the bathtub. I don't need you.
That's right. Dude. Joey's crackhead buddy said he'll give me $50 a month for the bathtub.
Yeah. Dude.
This has been great.
The good old days.
Well, so, shit, man.
Real quick. Well, no, before we go, quick, I do have one question.
Okay.
Are you going more towards digital art these days, or are you sticking to like pen and paper?
I would say 90% pen and paper still. Okay. I have always colored, outside of sketchbooks, I've always colored in Photoshop just because I've always wanted to be able to screen print things, and it's so much easier if you just color in Photoshop to separate it. Nowadays, I finally have a nicer tablet, not a crazy one, but like an old Intuos that is a step up from, the tablets that had this big of a drawing area that I had my whole life. So now I do all my layouts in Photoshop, like my thumbnails, so I can just blow them up instead of having to lightbox it. I still like the lightbox for inking, but it makes layouts so much easier because I always fucking hated that. Like draw your thumbnail this big and then take a ruler and scale it up. I mean, obviously people have evolved beyond that in the last 40 years, but I was just like, no, I'm a traditionalist. Like, this is how I'm going to do it every time. And then I'm like having to redraw it. It never lines up. It's all fucking awkward. So now I'm like, just draw it and blow it. Draw it small, print it, blow it up. But yeah, digital art is, I hate staring at the computer screen. If I can avoid staring at the screen, then I actually feel productive. Because even when I'm doing stuff in Photoshop, it's still, I'm on the computer, which is something I'm always trying to fight.
I only reason I ask is, like I said at the beginning of all of this, I like the hand-drawn aspect that goes into every piece, but there's still like an illustrated image or it's like feel to some of the stuff. So I wanted to see if that was like on purpose, if you're going more towards illustrated stuff, or it sounds like you're using the traditional methods and just allowing it to go into that kind of print realm or print platform.
I've always been attracted to sketchbooks. I remember in college seeing the first James Jean book that he put out, Process Recess. And I was just like, whoa, you can publish this stuff? This is the stuff that I want to see all the time. Because, I love illustration, everything about illustration, but really I want to see everything that went into the illustration. I want to see all the rough stuff, all the chicken scratch and all the shitty handwriting that every artist has. That's the stuff that really draws me in. So that's pretty much what these last 2 zines have been. Actually, the zine I put out before that too was just super raw scans. Like they didn't look touched up at all. They weren't. It's just like, how do I, because, once you scan something, it always seems to get kind of flat and lose it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to just find a way to scan them and very slightly adjust them so they look like the page that was in front of me, because that's the stuff I want to see. I don't want to see flat black. I want to see all the erasures and all the line art that's still, the pencil that was too deep that's carved into the paper.
Gotcha,
and then they ink over and it doesn't erase right. Like I love that stuff, and blue line drawings, all that sort of stuff. I like to see that a lot.
That's tight. Well, it's looking great, man. Everything that you're doing, however you're doing it, it's coming out great. Keep doing it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Is there anything you want to touch on before we get out of here? You got anything coming up? Obviously, go check out Blast Rag 2. What's your website where people can get that?
All right. My website is artofgutrot.com. And my Instagram is Burger Ghost, one word, Burger Ghost. I'll be at this market in Boston on the 12th, which is a Sunday, December 12th. Boston Hassel is throwing a good market at the Middle East in Cambridge, and I'll be there 12 to 5 selling some stuff. I haven't done a market in 2 years, and that's usually my favorite way to do this sort of stuff, because I get to have a table and talk to anyone that's interested about it, and they see things that I don't necessarily sell online. I usually do some one-off t-shirts, like some bleach dyes and some weird shit, just for that sort of stuff. And I also usually have a book of original art, which I know that I'm very into seeing that from artists I know, but maybe not everyone is. But I always like to bring it just in case anyone's like, "Hey, do you have any actual originals I can see?" And I always do.
No way.
So, yeah. Try to make it a different experience than just following me on Instagram and hearing me bullshit all the time.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I was just saying how connecting with people face to face goes so much further than just trying to sell your work online, or like do cold calls or like cold emails to places to try to connect with something. It's like if you a smile and a handshake and a conversation like goes a long way, man. So
goes a long way.
Appreciate you sitting down and talking with us today, dude. That ruled.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This felt like it went by in 5 minutes.
It was an easy conversation, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
It was great. Thanks for being so open, honest with us, sharing.
Oh, of course.
Sorry if I hit you with too many curveballs, but you answered them well, bro.
Not at all. I was expecting to shed some tears tonight, so I guess we came out okay.
Okay,
we keep it lighthearted. See, we keep it semi-lighthearted. I'm gonna wrap this thing up.
Awesome.
And then we'll get out of here.
Awesome.
Great meeting you, bro.
All right, this has been another episode of the RATNEST podcast. Good talking to you.
Yeah. Thanks for buying some zines. Thanks for selling them in your shop.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks for having me.
We didn't mention that. Not only are they on your shop, but on our online store, ratneststickerco.com, you can get Blast Rag 2 from GutRot. So go check that out. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Al.
Later, doggies.
Bye.